Hello, it is I. Now the Crew is arguably the most underappreciated racing game franchise ever. I mean, you could drive cars, boats and planes through an insanely large map, visit incredible landmarks, modify your vehicle with insane body kits, give it monster truck wheels, there's interior customization, motorcycles, hovercrafts, drive through diverse weather. Oh man, it's such a great franchise. Now there are not talks that the Crew 3 is going to be a thing yet, but seeing as the Crew 1 was released in 2014 and the Crew 2 in 2018, we might be seeing a sequel next year perhaps. So if that's the case, then here are 10 things we'd love to see in the Crew 3. Now before getting into this video, oh sorry about that, I was going back right there, because I was just thinking back to the time that you didn't press the like button. It still hurts me to this day. 4,000 likes is the target as per usual. Liking the video is free and it helps out so much more than you can imagine. And seeing as over half of you guys watching have not subscribed, do consider subscribing to the channel down below. We're on the road to 200k and I love having new faces in the comment section. Thank you very much, and now let's get into this video.
California living, business in LA is deep.
I've seen so many people begging for the Crew 3 to be set in Japan, and no, just no. What makes the Crew is the fact that it's set in the USA. It's such a V8 car influenced country, and having that game set there makes the game that much more special. So if you want the game to be set in Japan, then please shush. Anyways, as great of a map as the Crew had, there were a few minor faults. Number 1, the map's only dense in big cities, like New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles and Detroit. Whereas less known cities like Amarillo and Nashville have barely any buildings. So I really hope that in the next game, these smaller cities are more dense with much more buildings and roads. And the other problem is that the racetracks in the game are so inaccurate. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that racetracks exist in this map, but Laguna Seca, oh my god, the elevation changes are so random. Coming the corkscrew is practically flat. What is that? So yep, in short, I really hope that they make the map more dense outside of big cities, and that they get the elevation changes correct in the racetrack. Because I'm sorry, but this corkscrew is atrocious.
There's crypto in the world, you could get rich in a day. So
Now in the Crew 2, we got brand new vehicles like planes, which revolutionized the game. And also some boats. Now as much as I appreciate that they added boats into the franchise, I couldn't help but find them boring and practically useless. I mean, in cars, planes and helicopters, you can explore the beautiful map of the United States. But with a boat, you're very limited to where you can travel. And at the end of the day, the sea is just the sea. There's no special landmarks, apart from Alcatraz and the Statue of Liberty. So I'm not too fussed about whether they keep boats in the next game, but there is a very minor problem with the games that we received, which was that they are all single propeller powered. Now don't get me wrong, these planes were all very fun, but they all felt the same to fly. So instead of having many single propeller aircraft, why not have a twin turboprop like a Beechcraft Baron? Or maybe even planes powered by jet engines, like a British Aerospace Hawk. On top of that, having a Volvo truck would be interesting too, seeing as you can convert it into a straight line beast like an Iron Knight, or perhaps an off-roader like a Dakar truck. So although the diversity in the Crew 2 is absolutely beautiful, adding trucks and jets could really help to put that cherry on top.
I needed a trip. You want a scheme where I live?
Okay, now this is a big problem in the Crew 2. As in the Crew 1, there were many things that the players loved, like car customization, the huge diverse map, and of course the storyline. The story was engaging, with interesting characters paired with stunning cutscenes, which literally made you feel like you were watching a movie. This was all from 2014 as well, back when KSI looked like this. Honestly, if the storyline of the Crew 1 was made into a movie, it would have won an Oscar. Okay, that's a bit far. Then in the Crew 2, the car customization had a massive overhaul. The map had a few changes here and there, but the storyline, well, it was completely removed and replaced by this typical social media festival type of progression system, which didn't make you want to play through the game at all. I mean, it's the games with stories that people love the most. So many people prefer Forza Horizon 1 to every other title, purely because of the fact that it told a story. So getting rid of the story and going with a very rudimentary approach to the game just kills the magic. It made this really gritty, cool urban street racing game into a Forza Horizon wannabe, which was so sad to see. So I really hope that the directors and developers bring back this incredible story mode to the Crew 3, because that is what made the original game so incredible.
Bullets through your windows while you sleep with your kids.
Now the customization in the Crew 2, dare I say, it is the best customization I've ever seen in any mainstream racing game. I mean, the body kit selection was incredible. You could change the headlights and taillights, the mirrors are interchangeable, you could paint the brake calipers, you could choose the interior colour, select the finish of the trim, there was a selection of OEM wheels to choose from. Man, the customization was incredible. So honestly, I'd be happy if they could keep all of this and bring that into the next game. But if the developers were looking to up the customization for the next game, then I would like to suggest two things. things. Number 1, license plates. License plates were a thing in the first Crew game, and you could choose what state you want your plate to be from. But in the Crew 2, there is only one plate which isn't part of any state, which is pretty weird. So I would love for the developers to bring back these interchangeable license plates into the Crew 3, and perhaps let us be able to choose what's written on the plate as well. And number 2, multi-tone interior colours. Being able to choose the interior colour in the Crew games is fantastic, but having the choice to mix different colours would be revolutionary. Perhaps a red and white interior, a tan and brown interior, or even a blue and yellow interior. Oh, okay, no blue and yellow interiors, please.
Water underneath another bridge that I burned.
Now, arguably the biggest problem with the Crew games, both 1 and 2, were the physics, as they were not very good. They were terrible. In the Crew 1, the cars felt very floaty, but if you drive it off a cliff, the car instantly drops, like gravity is multiplied by 10. Then in the Crew 2, the cars felt less floaty, but they were so hard to drive. Honestly, I try to avoid driving cars in the game and I just stick to bikes. Speaking of the bikes, the motorcycle physics are actually pretty spot on in the Crew 2. So in the Crew 3, I really hope that the developers spend a lot of time on the physics, as in the current games they feel like plastic toy cars.
Pissed cause ladies never forgive me for my sin.
Now, a brand new addition to the Crew 2 was the introduction of houses. Yep, so instead of your characters storing all their cars in a weird dodgy garage, you actually had a house to store them in. Now, how cool is that? And on top of that, all the houses had separate floors, so you could visit different rooms of which you could store different cars, and make your house look like a car museum, which is a very neat feature. In fact, I'd go as far as to think the houses are perfect in the Crew 2. But there's one very little thing that I'd like them to add, which is the ability to change furniture, the wallpaper and the flooring, just like in Test Drive Unlimited 2. That way you can customize the interior of your house and make it much different from the houses all your friends have, so it doesn't feel like every house is identical but with a different selection of cars. And perhaps being able to move furniture and adjust how they face would be a very neat feature as well. Though now I may be asking for a little too much, so I'll stop talking now.
Perfect, but I promise that I'm trying this.
Okay, now you might be thinking, character customization? We already have that in the game, and yes, we do. I mean, you could choose what character you want to be, and you could change up their clothes, which is a bare minimum needed for a video game. But one thing I'm really happy they allow is for you to change your character after you've chosen them. Because I accidentally chose this woman in the Crew 2, yeah? And now I can't change it. I am stuck with this woman character in the Crew 2. So bear man coming up to me and trying to hit on me, yeah, thinking I'm a woman, yeah? When in reality I'm a 19-year-old kid making YouTube videos in a shed. So Ubisoft, yeah? Please allow us to change the characters once we've chosen them. It's a simple feature which could go a very long way.
My bills multiplying, but my money is divided.
Now, I've seen so many people complain about trying out Forza on a wheel, but if you thought that was bad, then try driving a car on a wheel in the Crew 2, because it's practically impossible. Now, you might be saying, who uses a wheel on the Crew? How do you fly planes with a wheel, man? The Crew's meant to be played with a controller. And yes, I completely agree. But there is a surprisingly big audience out there who love to drive realistically in roleplay, so adding decent wheel support on the next Crew game could go a really long way. Now, I'm not asking for a set of course levels for wheel support because that would be quite frankly unfitting for an arcade racing game like the Crew, but at least make the cars drivable. Give the cars weight, make it so that it's actually satisfying to drive, because the wheel support on the Crew 2 is quite frankly terrible. So fingers crossed that Ubisoft and the Crew working on the Crew do work on wheel support to make driving on the Crew 3 much more enjoyable on a steering wheel. And that's the end of the video. Hope you all did enjoy. If you do not enjoy this video, that is a bit sad. You are a bit bad. If you want to see more videos like this one, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We are trying to hit 200k by the end of this year, so any help would be much appreciated. Also, leave a comment down below, that help a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you very much, and I'll catch up with you guys very soon. Until next time, have a good one, guys. Stay safe, stay inside. Until next time. Cheers.
My dinero's what I'm out to get. Sombrero, I get hat and then I'm out again. Got an A1 Chica with a drive like a 3 litre. That's what she needs D for, like the outfit.